Nothing will crush a real estate investor's spirit like landlord stress. The difference between being successful and miserable in managing properties is education. Welcome to Landlord University, where landlords learn. Landlord University is recorded from inside the Rent Prep office, where Stephen White and Jeff Pearson share the lessons learned from working with some of the most successful landlords.
Welcome to Landlord University. I'm Jeff Pearson, and this is my co-host,
Stephen White.
Hello, Stephen. Well, it's been a little while since we've recorded an episode. I have been traveling the country, and now I'm back, and we're ready to start doing this back on schedule again. And I'm excited to jump in and get started. We have a number of fun and exciting things on the horizon, some stuff that we're going to be recording today and releasing in the next few days. But let's get started with our next episode of Night School. And I understand we're going to be talking about landlords and social media.
Yeah, we see a lot of landlords doing really good stuff with social media. Sometimes you find out more than you probably wanted to. But I think it was Mike Simmons who mentioned the ultimate power of social media when it comes to real estate investing. And in his example, he used the way that he sort of started out, which was he was posting everything on Facebook, kind of the step by step is his first flip. And then he said, next thing you know, everybody just started coming out of the woodwork saying, "Hey, we want to invest. We want you to, uh, uh, handle our money and start doing these flips with us." And he said it was great, helped him boost his business and really got him to where he was. So obviously, as a real estate investor, social media can be really beneficial to you for screening. Obviously, social media again can be huge for you as a landlord, and for marketing your properties, which again should be a pretty big part of your screening process, making sure that your marketing is good and you're getting that good selection pool to choose from. I think the biggest thing, to start out with landlords and social media marketing from the marketing aspect is don't do it from your personal social media accounts, obviously. We are always talking about keeping that space there, with the tenants. And so what I definitely see working well is landlords will set up like a business page, and that's where they're posting, the rentals, the information about it, and they may use their own personal page to get the information out, to like it or to share it with other people, but they're not doing it directly through their own personal page. And I think also that lends a little bit of an amateur angle to it as well.
Right. And, when you're setting up social media accounts, if you have a number of single family units, you can set up a page for each address. And, especially from a marketing standpoint, if you're looking at marketing your property, but at the same time, you can build something that's a little bit more global. You can, if you have a name for your company, you can create a company name so that you begin to get likes for all of your properties under that one company name, and especially if you have multi-unit properties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And it's a great place to post updates, especially like you said, multi-unit properties, different events or different scheduled maintenance events may be coming by, or especially for marketing, it's a great place to post a ton of pictures. You're going to be able to post more pictures than you will on most of your, your listing sites. And best of all, it's free. So you're directing people there for free. You're not paying for the listings or anything like that. And it's evergreen in a lot of sense. You have a turnover, and instead of renewing that listing or going through there, with the pictures all over again, everything's already there. You just get people pointed to there again when you have another opening.
Exactly. And, there are different types of social media. I mean, certainly you can use Facebook, and that's the one that we're referring to most right here. But you could have a Twitter account. You could even use Instagram. When you do some work on the property and you make it look good, take some pictures and get that up on Instagram.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it gives people an opportunity to see it from a different angle too. And I think that's where a lot of landlords are having marketing success with it. Is it's not the same old sites that people are expecting to go and see that kind of stuff. So, if you can get a little bit of buzz going about it after like you said, you have an update, it looks great, you post it up there and somebody says, "Oh man, that looks fantastic. I want to live there." And so, it's sort of a natural conversion there at that point too.
Exactly. And then you can also use those accounts to follow other people who are in the business. You can use that to follow other landlords and property management companies and different people that are in the business that you want to be sure that you stay connected to, and you can follow them and like them. Hopefully, they'll like you back so that over time you build this big community.
Yeah. So switching gears slightly, using social media now for screening. Um, Believe it or not, Google is such an amazing tool for screening. You would be, well, maybe you wouldn't be shocked anymore, but some of the stuff that you find just by doing a very simple Google search, starting obviously with the applicant's name, um, can take you pretty far. And I think in a lot of cases may forego the need to even have to run a background check at that point. Sometimes you end up finding stuff. Obviously, searching social media, for, the applicants, maybe an argument of how ethical it might be, but it's certainly legal. Landlords have the right to do it. If they post their page as public, the landlord has the right to go on there and take a look at the person. And there was a presentation that I had done for a couple of landlord associations, and in this presentation, I had a couple of pictures that I had selected out purposely, very specifically from people's social media accounts on sort of red flags and things to look for, and they were things that might not always be super obvious. So landlords might obviously look for things like parties and bad behavior kind of stuff, but what we always say is look for the really really small details well within the picture. You're looking for what kind of furniture and fixtures they've got in the house. The example that I had pulled for the landlord association meeting, there was literally not a photo on the wall. The clothes were in a pile next to an open closet with empty hangers. I'm not sure why they weren't using hangers and chose to throw things on the floor. But there was clearly holes in the wall too, where you could see where somebody had kicked holes in the wall. Again, probably not super noticeable. I don't think that the person even thought twice about it when they posted the picture, but when you look pretty deep into it and started seeing all these little tiny details and little things and start putting two and two together, you could see really clearly that it looks like they just didn't take care of the place that they were living in at all. So those are, obvious things that you want to look for, and again, it's public information. It's out there and it's available to view.
That is really important. Pay attention to what people are putting out there and get a sense of what type of people they are. Are they the type of people that you would want to rent to?
Mm-hmm. And I've had landlords say to me, well, what if they don't make their page public? What if you can't see any of that information? And I said, the nice thing is the craziest people are the ones who make everything public. And so those are the ones that you go on and you say they shouldn't make their page public. Look at all these ridiculous pictures, or look at the stuff that I'm looking at. Those are the ones, like I said, the most obvious no's. You can get those out of the way right away. They just seem to have bad judgment all around. So they are going to have those kind of pictures. Trust me, look for them because they're going to be there. We see it all the time. So certainly people can set their pages to private and not everyone can see it. But for some reason, those that you need to be looking out for just don't have the mindset to do that. So look anyway. You never know what you're going to end up finding.
Exactly. And again, look at a couple of different types of companies, from Instagram to Twitter to Facebook. The younger kids are using Instagram more, so you want to be sure that you're checking out Instagram to see what you see there.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a couple of sites, or not sites, I should say, a couple of startup companies in the screening community that are starting to toy around with and play with basically being able to screen people through social media. And I know I've seen a couple of sites that are up and running now that actually are underwriting people with social media instead of the old fashioned way of pulling up your credit report. For younger people, that's how they're actually underwriting them now. What kind of, I don't think they're rating them based on the social media presence that they have, but they're rating them based on, you know, how long that they've been around on these platforms. What's their sort of stability? I don't know. I really don't know the inner workings of how that type of stuff works, but I think social media obviously is here to stay. It's not going anywhere, and it's going to become more and more important for day-to-day business, I think. So screening is probably going to be one of those areas where you're going to start to see very soon things popping up that you can actually, do pretty in-depth searches on people and look at old posts and all kinds of stuff right straight out of social media.
It makes a lot of sense. And it's just another tool that you can use to help determine whether or not you're choosing the right tenant for your property.
Yeah, it's the leave no stone unturned mentality. The biggest regret that we ever hear is somebody that says, I've let this person in. After I evicted them, I was at the courthouse and I found out that they had another eviction last year. If I would have just looked at information and found that, I could have made a much better decision. So just like everything, if the information's there, you have to take that step of due diligence to look. You have to be able to know where to look. And again, if that information is there, it's your responsibility to look at it.
Exactly. Well, great, Stephen. I think that wraps up another evening of night school. I'll look forward to talking with you tomorrow evening.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks for listening to Landlord University. And remember to visit rentprep.com/landlordu to see show notes and access free resources like forms and guides. And be sure to check out Jeff Pearson hosting his own hit podcast at thementorimpact.com.